Welcome everyone to a new episode of the Shade and Shit Talking Podcast. I am your host TK, and as always, I really thank you for tuning in. Now this week, I wanted to talk about something that I've been keeping a sharp eye on and really, haven't said anything much about it. I don't know if it was just seeing so many people, talk about it, or just the fact that I really wanted to take in everything that I was reading and seeing and hearing and really, kind of gather my thoughts and feelings about it. Now, what I'm talking about is the untimely and brutal murder of Mr. Botham Jean in Dallas. So, for those of you who may not know about it, or not, too familiar with the situation, allow me to give you a rundown of what happened. So, on September the 6th, Botham Jean was murdered by an off-duty police officer who had just got off work, supposedly, Miss Amber Geiger. Now they live in the same building. He lives on the 4th floor, she lives on the 3rd, and she lives right underneath him. So what I'm gonna do is give you her version, her, what she said happened, and what I think happened. Well, according to her, she went to what she thought was her apartment and stuck the key in the door and opened it, and she was confronted by Mr. Jean at the door. And thinking that she was being burglarized, she supposedly gave commands to freeze or whatever, and he didn't. So she shot him in the torso and killed him. He died next to his couch in his own apartment. Well, when the first, preliminary part of the investigation came out, that revealed the first inconsistency with her story. So that report states that she shot him from across the room. So which one is it? And more details came out. So she said that she parked on the wrong level. That's how she ended up at his apartment. And the door was ajar, so that's why the key went in, and when she turned it, it opened. Well, now, from what I've seen and read, I think that's just a fucking lie. I saw someone post a video, I guess it was somebody who lived there, who may have heard the commotion or whatever, came back days later and showed the public how the door system works. So they have electronic keys where they can stick in and, turn the lock. And if it's the right key, the light turns green. If not, the light turns red. I also saw that, where it said that the way that the doors and whatnot are designed, that they close. So there can't be they automatically close, so you can't just leave it open. Also, in this, by the door, they have, sconces maybe that are illuminated with the apartment number on it. And Mr. Jean had a red floor mat at his door to distinguish his apartment from other people's apartment. So let's venture inside the apartment. You know, tell me what you think. Now, I know my own house like the back of my hand. I can walk through my house in the middle of the night when it's dark and know, hey, couch is here, tables here, whatever. Now, you mean to tell me that she couldn't tell, even in how dim it was in the apartment, that it wasn't hers? She couldn't see anything at all to tell her, hey, you're not at home. Because according to reports and whatnot, this man was watching football, watching the Philadelphia Eagles play the Atlanta Falcons. It was first week of the football season. And this is about 10 o'clock. And that was bad weather that held the game up, so it was still on around this time. And according to reports, he was watching this game, texting friends, eating a bowl of cereal. So, you mean to tell me she couldn't see a goddamn thing in there that says, hey, I'm at the wrong place? That's how it should have been. Hey, I'm at the wrong place. My bad, man. I'm whatever. My fault. You have a good evening. And from the beginning, her goddamn story just didn't hold water at all. I mean, at fucking all. So, after she murdered this man, she was charged with manslaughter. And I'm no legal eagle. I'm no lawyer or anything like that. But they charged her with manslaughter, I guess, because she didn't intend to kill him. You know, the shooting wasn't intentional. It was just reactionary or whatever. But here's my thing with that. Like, for her to be a police officer, supposedly trained in, conflict resolution and things of that nature, her supposed training would suggest that she could have neutralized the situation without shooting this man. Now, witnesses in the building say they heard a very brief exchange of words, and then shots rang out. So, you mean to tell me that her only choice in this was to shoot this man? And I just don't believe that. And my other problem with this is, why was she only charged with manslaughter? She should have been charged with murder. She robbed this man of his life. And I honestly believe it was intentional. Because, again, her shit just didn't add up. Like, do you have the right to shoot somebody because they, quote unquote, ignored your verbal commands in their own apartment after they've done absolutely nothing wrong? And it really burned me up to see a lot of, groups, forums and whatnot where, and you know who they are, the police apologists, 99.8% white, saying, well, he should have just complied. Like, who the fuck are you or anybody to tell you what to do in your own house when they barged in? I mean, it just doesn't work that way. And and another thing that bothers me about what she was charged with was the fact that, according to Lee Merritt, the DeJean family attorney, there was 2 witnesses who said they heard somebody in the hallway knock on the door before the shooting. One of the witnesses said they heard a woman say, let me in, before the gunshots. And then one claimed that she heard a man's voice yell out, oh my God, why did you do that? After the shots rang out. Those could have been Mr. Jean's last words. Now, I also saw a picture of him and 3 women. 2 of them he had his arm around, and one he was, leaning into, with familiarity. And this picture that's floating around has been said that she's the one that he's leaning into with familiarity. So if that's the truth, then that debunks the myth. No, I'm sorry, not myth, the lie that they didn't know each other. That it was just random. She murdered him by happenstance, which none of us bought anyway. And one of his neighbors said that they took a issue with Amber's claim that she mistook his apartment for her own because, like I said earlier, he had that bright red doormat. And like I also said, his door could not have been ajar because the doors in that apartment complex closes automatically. So just, within a few days, everything that she said could be taken apart and debunked. Yet, she was only charged with manslaughter. And I personally think that's straight bullshit. So that leads me to the second part of what I'm feeling about this. She murdered him. And now the Dallas Police Department, the cartel in blue, the gang in blue, are doing what they can to help and protect her because they murdered him as well. They kill you twice. Just like the title of this episode, they kill you twice. So after all of this, had taken place, okay, so what people need to understand is, in order for the police to search your property, they have to have consent. And considering that Mr. Jean was murdered, he could not give his consent, so they have to get it from a judge. So they got a warrant from a judge to search this man's apartment. And in this warrant, it specifically said that they were looking for narcotics, and other drugs. Why? What does that have to do with the case? In real life, absolutely nothing. But in this life, this corrupt system of police and media, it matters a lot. Now, me personally, I wouldn't give 2 fucks if they found 10 kilos of pure Colombian uncut cocaine and 100 pounds of weed. I wouldn't give a fuck because it doesn't matter. But it matters to them. And I'll tell you why. So after they searched this man's apartment, they found 2 shell casings, a police vest. They took a backpack, a laptop, I believe his phone. And they found 10.4 grams of weed and a weed grinder. And on the day that this man's family was burying him, they put this shit out. And that right there, that putting out, the bit about the marijuana, that is, play number one, page number one from the frequently used police playbook. They kill an unarmed black person, black man, black woman, and then they assassinate their character. They kill you twice. I mean, think about it. The fact that they did find this marijuana, how is that relevant to anything that's going on? And this goes back to what my boy from Black with No Chaser, founder Black with No Chaser, CJ Lawrence, aka Quan Garvey, created the hashtag If They Gun Me Down. It goes right back to that. Like, the white killers get more sympathy than the black victims. Every single time. Every single time. So they're putting this out as a means to elicit some type of sympathy for a murderer, while in the same vein demonizing this dead black man who's no longer a person in their eyes. He's just a dead black thing. That is what he is to them. So, my feeling is, if you can check to see what the fuck is in his apartment, you need to go and check and see what the fuck is in the killer's apartment. What's in the killer's bloodstream? You need to fine-tooth comb everything about this bitch's life if you doing this to him. But we all know that won't happen. And, looking at this case, as well as all of the other ones that preceded it, you have to ask yourself, I know I have, exactly when will it be safe for us as black people to not only live, but to exist in America? Like when? There's a laundry list of shit that we can't do while black. We can't drive while black. We can't sit in a Starbucks while black. We can't go to a pool while black. You can't sell fucking water while black. You can't fall asleep in a common area of the dorm where you live at a college while black. You can't sell CDs or loose cigarettes while black. You can't be 12 years old and playing with a BB gun in the park by yourself while black. You can't be in Walmart with a gun, a BB gun or whatever it is that you can purchase legally from Walmart and walk around with it while black. You can't be a politician canvassing a neighborhood to talk to your constituents while black. You can't do shit while being black. And we are all painfully familiar with these scenarios, whether directly or indirectly. A couple of them I have been directly affected by. I have been pulled over. What are you doing here? Like, I live here. Really? I've dealt with that. Many of you have dealt with that. Like, we are singled out and demonized strictly because of the color of our skin. Then when they move to the second part, to kill your character, to assassinate your character, that's when the other things come out. But when they do the shit that they do, oh no, they don't dig into their past to try to pull every single fucking skeleton out of their closets. Look at the situation with the Justice Kavanaugh trying to get Supreme Court confirmation. Now he's facing allegations of sexual assault and all types of shit associated to when he was, in school. And they just want to just sweep it under the rug. Like, hey, kids make mistakes. But at the same time, they just demonized Trayvon Martin over some marijuana, a bag of weed. And I mean, we all know that we're not on the same level. We're not playing the same game. The rules are different, written and unwritten. It's different for us. But seriously, like, you really have to ask yourself when will it be safe to exist as a black man, woman, or child in America? Look at Tamir Rice, 12-year-old boy shot less than 2 seconds playing in the park. Look at Terrence Crutcher, murdered on the side of the road in Tulsa. And then the woman who did it is now teaching classes on how she did what she did, pretty much. Look at Philando Castile, murdered in front of his girlfriend and daughter. Look at Walter Scott, shot in the back, running. Look at Stephon Clark, shot in the back in his grandmother's backyard. Like, that. And running is not a crime that's worth death. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of feelings within me behind this. And I don't know. But this case just further illustrates the bullshit that we see and deal with in America. And what really truly bothers me about this is that these people are so intent, so more than willing to explore Amber Geiger's reasoning, what happened with her, giving excuses of why it possibly happened, saying that there must be a reason. Instead of them, trying to tell Botham Jean's story of him just being at home, minding his business, living his life, and being murdered for no apparent fucking reason. And, I will say this. The police, the media, other white people, and even some black people, they are obsessed with trying to find the intent and the reasons behind bad actions of white people and cops. Like, America has this subconscious feeling or idea that, I don't know, for some reason that it's inconceivable for white people to have bouts of incompetence and iniquity or guilt. And that's sad, both sad and stupid. But we just have to add Mr. Jean's name to a long growing list of hashtags. And me personally, I'm fucking sick and tired of it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around for this week's episode of Colonizer Nonsense. My first colonizer nonsense moment takes me to the friendly skies full of friendly lies and the reasons why you niggas better stick to Southwest. Now, their slogan is, we love to fly and it shows. Unless it's with you niggas, you better hop on Spirit or Southwest. Delta Airlines called to apologize to a passenger because one of their employees called the police on her, all because she wanted to file a claim over some damaged baggage. Yikes. So not only can we not drive while black, walk while black, shop while black, sleep while black, live while black, we can't even ask for the manager while black. I guess white women have that particular segment on lock and they don't want to share that with anybody. So anyways, they called to apologize after an argument over damaged luggage, quote unquote, escalated. Now I watched the video. It seems like the only person who escalated this shit was front counter Delta Downer Debbie and her shenanigans because she probably don't like black people. I'm just saying. So the customer, who is black, she feels like the incident with the customer service agent, who is white, was racially motivated. Now, the customer, whose name is Arlene, she didn't give a last name because we all know they crazy. She says, and I quote, "If a white person calls police on a black person, it can end badly. If I were white, she may not have called." May? Shit. She wouldn't have called. Matter of fact, she'd have gave you everything you asked for. The black woman, Arlene, wanted the manager's name and number. If she was white, she'd have got his name, his number, his blood type, his shoe size, his next of kin name, his phone number, his address, his social security number, his favorite food, and whether or not he likes milk or not, and if he's allergic to anything. But anyways, so Delta apologized to this customer for her experience in the Boston baggage service office, and they offered her a $300 voucher, to which Arlene said, "Fuck that. If you think I'm flying with you again, you crazy as hell." So in retrospect, I wouldn't fly with him either. So for y'all who listening, stay the fuck away from Delta. Headline: shirtless dad and son arrested for gunning down neighbor in trash fight. Wow. A West Texas man was gunned down by his two shirtless neighbors in a shocking confrontation that was recorded by the victim's girlfriend. When will this white on white violence stop? Aaron Howard, 37 years old, was killed on September the 1st in Abilene over in West Texas. Allegedly, and I say allegedly even though we've seen the video, by father and son neighbors Johnny and Michael Miller. They've both been charged and arrested with murder. Damn. The deadly confrontation was caught on cell phone by Howard's fiance, Kara Box, and she shared this with Facebook and the news. And she said, I quote, "People deserve to know what actually happened." Now, I understand violence, people getting mad and shooting and all of that. But what these motherfuckers were shooting over is just absolutely crazy. Now, the three men were arguing over a dump mattress in an alley behind Howard's house on Don Juan Street. That's a hell of a name. Don Juan Street in Abilene. Now, the dad had a pistol and the son had a shotgun. And as they going back and forth, Howard, and I give him credit, he didn't back down, although I probably would have, considering it's a goddamn mattress and both them motherfuckers had guns. He did not back down even when the old man told him, "If you come closer to me, I'm gonna kill you." And the girlfriend recorded it all. So I wonder if they gonna put up the statistics about white on white violence, or will this be some kind of justified homicide because somebody suffered from some type of mental illness? Let's just wait and find out. Finally, my last colonizer nonsense moment takes me to the state of New York. And before I get into this, just let me say, state of Florida, I'm really shocked y'all didn't make the cut this week. Y'all usually fuck up every week, but we'll see you next week. Anyway, headline. A 45-year-old man arrested for allegedly threatening to shoot an 11-year-old boy who beat him in Fortnite. Idiot. A 45-year-old man from New York had been playing Fortnite with an 11-year-old boy for months. He then allegedly threatened to shoot the boy, possibly at school, via text messages and voicemail through his Xbox after he lost the game. Oh man, this white-on-white violence is just crazy this week. Michael Aliperti of Huntington, New York, is facing second-degree aggravated harassment charges and the charge of acting in a manner to injure a child, police say. Wow. Now, this guy was introduced to the 11-year-old boy by other kids who had been playing the same game over the course of several months. And damn, some people just can't take a loss with dignity and grace. I guess he one of them. But I tell you what, that was my goddamn son. Motherfucker, you had to come see me, cause I'm definitely coming to see your ass. So right now, I want to introduce a new segment that I call For the Culture. And what this segment is about is I will, talk about things that have a lasting effect on the culture for all of us, whether it's something that's going on now or something in the past that we can both celebrate or commemorate. But either way, it has had a lasting effect or will have a lasting effect on the overall African American or black culture for all of us. So the first subject that I want to talk about in this segment, and he's been very, very much in the news probably for the last 2.5 years or so. And it's Colin Kaepernick. And it has nothing to do with sports per se and him kneeling, but this week, Colin Kaepernick is to receive a Harvard honor for African and African American studies. Cap will join the likes of numerous African American icons as he will receive Harvard's highest honor in African and African American studies. This is what the university announced Thursday. Kaepernick, along with 7 others, including Dave Chappelle, will receive the W.E.B. Du Bois Medal in recognition of their contributions to African and African American culture and the life of the mind. Now, past winners in this included Muhammad Ali and Maya Angelou. So, congrats to Cap, congrats to Dave Chappelle, and that's a really good look for the culture. Now, this time, September 21st, 22nd, 1906, I don't know if many of you know this, but some of you may, but the Atlanta race ride happened. And in this riot, this was an attack of armed white mobs against black people in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, it began on September 22nd, and it lasted through September 24th, 1906. Now, the final death toll is unknown today, and it's been disputed forever, but quote unquote officially it's been listed as at least 25 black people and confirmed 2 white people. But unofficial reports range from 10 to 100 black people. Now, according to the Atlanta History Center, Some black people were hanged from lampposts, others were shot, beaten, and stabbed to death. They were pulled from streetcars, attacked on the street. White mobs invaded black neighborhoods, destroying homes and businesses. That sounds just like the Tulsa riot of 1921. These motherfuckers have a pattern, in case y'all had noticed. Now, just like Tulsa and just like other places, the catalyst for this was that 4 white women were raped in separate incidents, allegedly by black men. But none of these rapes were ever substantiated. Shocking, I know. Once again, black folks are victimized by the crocodile tears of white women. But in reality, the underlying cause for this, as always, is jealousy. And the underlying cause was jealousy, was hatred, and growing racial tensions. The city was changing economically. Whites were really having to compete with black people for jobs, housing, and political power. Now, this riot kept going until the then governor, Joseph Terrell, called in the National Guard. And just like Tulsa, a lot of black people accused the police and some of the guardsmen in participating in the violence against them. And I totally believe that's true. Also, another fucked up thing about this is the following year, the new governor introduced more legislation that was designed to disenfranchise black people by raising barriers to voter registration. That was a law that was made in 1908. So what's going on today is really, no different than what went on then, except for the all-out riots. I mean, that shit ain't going today. But disenfranchisement is not a new thing. It's ongoing. And as long as they feel threatened, it will always be a part of the American way of life. This has been episode 16 of the Shade and Shit Talking podcast, brought to you by Black with No Chaser. And as always, I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys spending your quality time listening to me rant and rave and go on and on about my thoughts and feelings concerning the culture, news, music, politics, entertainment, etc., etc. You didn't have to do it, but you did, and I really do appreciate it. Now, this weekend, our sister group, Melanated Millennials Investment Group, MMIG, we are having a mixer in Jacktown, Jackson, Mississippi, Saturday night. It's not too late to get your tickets to attend. So if you're looking to go, you can go to our Facebook page, MMIG, and get those tickets through Eventbrite and go out and see what all we have cooking for the culture. We're doing a lot of big things, looking to bring a lot of high quality programs to help enlighten and enrich our community through financial and physical education, and to also find ways to combat gentrification of our neighborhood. So make sure you check it out. If you're looking for something to do in the Jackson area tonight, go by the MMIG Mixer. Also, make sure you like, follow, and share Black with No Chaser. You can find us on Facebook as well. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. And our new website will be coming very, very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. As well as my new docuseries that I'm doing, writing, producing with fellow Black with No Chaser member, Mr. Tyson Jackson. What up, Tyson? Our new docu-series entitled Black Capital will be coming soon, so be on the lookout for that as well. Now, we talked about the murder of Botham Jean, as well as the character assassination attempted by the Dallas Police Department and the media. Never forget, those two go hand in hand. We talked about the Tulsa riots. We talked about Colin Kaepernick and those who are enriching the culture day by day. Shout out to them. And all of this stuff that I talked about, whether on the surface or if you dig down deep, they're all intertwined, they're all connected, and they are all part of the same game plan, the same narrative that they have been doing since we've been here. So keep your head on the swivel, know your surroundings, be very aware of your situation, and watch out for each other. Now I'm gonna leave you with this quote from Frederick Douglass. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is in an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next week.
Oh, thank you.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.